I've got my tea and I'm outside for a little bit, and I figured come out and do a live and chit chat. It's cold, but I've got my tea and my Blessed to Crochet cup, and which is in our merch store. And so I figured I'd come out. It has literally been raining on and off, and it's about 52 degrees out here. But I knew I needed to get out of the bedroom. I've been really focusing on crochet. I've had a really, really rough week, guys. I kind of see light a little bit at the end of this tunnel. The past 2 days, I'm hoping it's going to continue down that road. It's all I can do. Hi, Kristen. I can take one day at a time. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm not pushing it. I can't push it. They do want me to start iron infusions, so I don't know when that's going to start, whether I'll be able to even handle those. The medicine stops on Friday. I am not looking forward to that, but we'll see. The blanket that I finished for Christina with the horse blanket. I love you too. Hi, Shatika. That is, Christina has like, what is it? She has like horse riding lessons on Saturday. And I don't care what I need to do to get there. I want to go and see her and work with the horses and give the woman that I had made the blanket for the blanket. I don't know if I'll make it to church on Sunday, but I am going to make it to go see Christina and go to the barn and give this woman this blanket. Just say thank you for looking at my daughter past the lens of someone that's just labeled autism, but looking at her herself. And this is not the first time she's done this. She does this with a lot of her students. And hopefully you can hear me. I've got my mic on. A lot of her students. And she loves hiring those on the spectrum because they just really tend to the horses. I've got a hare that's just decided to fly away over there. Hi, country boy. How are you? And I've been just crocheting. Yesterday I was absolutely exhausted. And what I'm not, hi, Jans. What I'm not really, what's really gonna, I think, gonna take me down a little bit is the cramps. I'm coming off this medication. So I've got some recording. Hi, Bud Files. I've got some recordings to do. I have 10 and 11 done, and I need to edit those at first, as far as the devotions are, and then I need to get some more done. I'm just in this funk that I want my life back, and I don't know when it's going to come back, and it's really hard. It'll come back, I know it, but I'm fighting through it a lot. Don't feel like doing anything. Just want to hide in my room, and it's just been really, really hard. And I've been struggling. And that's what I said. I'm hanging in there. I'm getting through, doing what I can. But my whole life has just been wrapped around this whole thing since Easter. And I'm like, can we just get back to normal? My normal fibromyalgia pain, my normal stuff, the normal stuff I deal with, the normal stuff I don't have to think about. There was a graduation party we wanted to go to tonight. Didn't go because I didn't know what I was going to feel like. And I said to myself, I don't care what I have to do to get to that barn on Saturday to give this blanket, I'm doing it. Um, and and truly, guys, I have 3 blankets that have been first of all, the one blanket that I'm doing is, uh, needs to be done by July. I'm hanging in there, Little Big Red Shoes. I'm just hanging in there. Um, that one needs to be done by July. The other one's for our church, and the other one that I'm doing, thank you very much. I need it. The other one I'm doing, I've been doing for a while. I've put it away, and it's actually why I haven't done any more recordings. Like I said, I've got 10 and 11 done for the devotions. I just don't have them edited yet. And I need to do some more recordings tomorrow and get as caught up as I possibly can. But the thing is that I took my mic off where I normally have it on. That's why I'm kind of on this tonight because I didn't want to deal with it. And I took my mic off because I needed to get to this blanket. And it was in a position of it was in a position where I'm like, if I don't get it done, if I don't get it out of there, then I can't, I've got to get the it's in a like a container. Guys, it's like 52 degrees out in the middle of May. It's been raining horrendously. Um, but I've had all the yarn in a bin, and it was underneath the printer and underneath the mic stand, and I'm like, I've got to get to this blanket. So in order to do that, I had to take my mic off where it is. So I've got to place that mic back on. But I know the end's going to eventually happen, and my body will be back to normal, and my hormones will all be back to normal. I know all that. It's just in the mix of it, I'm just like, I'm so over it. I cried with Josh last night. I'm just over it. I know that um I know that I have the source. I know that, when it's that time for, yourself, you expect it once a month. You expect to kind of feel, crappy, but not to deal with this. And my daughter says, you may need to go have that procedure done. And I'm like, I know. And if I don't want to go through it. I don't want to go through having to go underneath. And I mean, it's a very common procedure, but if I don't have to go through it, I really don't want to go through it. I prefer not to. But that's after my birthday. I've decided to say, I'm going to just get through it till after my birthday. Uh, we'll see what they say as far as the iron infusions and how that's going to do and how I'm going to feel, whether I can even handle those or not. I have no idea. I think it's the unknown. You know, I know fibromyalgia and I know what to expect. But when you got this, it's kind of like, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what energy. Today's actually been a pretty good day. But what has hindered me is there's a sense of just a depression sense. There's a discouragement sense. I'm just tired, because yesterday was not a really good day. It was a painful day and it was a hard day. And, I took a 2.5 hour nap because I was just, hi, Grandma, how are you? I was just tired. There's no other way to put it. And I just said to myself today, Mary, you've got to get out of this. You've just got to get out of this. This is just ridiculous. See, guys, I'm a pretty, I'm a person that'll go through stuff and then I'll just sit there and go, I'm done. And some of it is I haven't yet begun to even think of Patty not here. And when those emotions come up, I gotta just put them in the trunk. I can't deal with them. I can't handle them right now. Too hard. I wasn't supposed to cry. Her daughter's having a really hard time. I feel bad for my cousin. So I just have to put the emotions in the trunk and move forward. Because I just like, I can't. I can't deal with it. I don't want to deal with it right now. It's too hard. Grief sucks. And I'm praying because we're supposed to go to Columbus on the 7th for Josh's grandmother's sister funeral. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Get me through that. I didn't know her very well, but we're going there to support. He wasn't terribly close to her. But we'll go there for support. That's going to be a hard one. Hey, Sarah. How are you? I know I'll get through it. Sorry, guys. Didn't intend it for this. See, pashmias are good for Kleenexes when you didn't bring one out because you didn't think you were going to cry. I'm really sorry. Um, and you know, it's just been a lot. I'm crying because we'll see in March. For those that don't know, people that are coming in here watching this woman just sitting here crying. In March, my aunt died, and hey Indigo, how are you? In March, my aunt died after about a year and a half of a bout with cancer, stage 4 liver and lung cancer. And then shortly after that, Josh's grandmother winded in the hospital because her heart's not working. She's 95 years old. Then Easter, I winded up in the hospital because my hormones decided, well, let's just go for a party. Um, and the female department hasn't gone back to normal. And so that's been going on for a month. And they're working medication wise to get everything back to normal and to where it's supposed to be. And it's slowly working. It's just discouraging to say the least. Oh, I know he does. I have, guys, I know who has me, who has carried me, and that's God. Believe what you want to believe, but I know who's carried me, and that's God. First time I probably cried for my aunt about a month. And I didn't expect that. And when you're grieving somebody, you know what? You don't know when those are going to come. I've been in the middle of places thinking, where did this come from? Over my dad, who passed away in 21, my grandfather that passed away in 98, and out of the blue, it's like, where's it, how does it come from? Where does it, where does the memory or the smell or whatever it is come from? So I'm tired. I'm a little nervous because as long as the medication's in me, thank you, even the medication that they gave me is in me, um, everything, I'm still having some issues, but it's stabilized. When the medication goes off on Saturday, I'm hoping that what is happening now will continue. And I don't know. She probably wouldn't want to put me on another round of it for another 10 days. And it takes about 2 or 3 months for this medication to stabilize yourself. And I'm hoping that's what's starting to happen. But everything I have read says that when you stop, the cramps are horrendous, and that's what they've been. So I have every intention um, of streaming in the month of June because it's my birthday. Pretty big birthday, actually. Hey, Dan, how are you? And so, except for Sunday and Monday, I'm going to stream. Maybe like this, where just take the phone out and sit out and just chit chat. But I'm going to do it. I kind of got to myself today and I thought, Mary, what in heck are you doing? June 18th. What are you doing? You got to get out of this funk. You just have to say, okay, this is what I have. This is what I need to deal with. And I need to go forward. And it'll all work itself out. But hiding in a corner ain't going to help anything. And I don't think you realize the importance of what we have built here in this community. You don't have to have a crochet hook to be here. You don't have to even know how to crochet. You just have to be here to want community. We crochet connection. Absolutely. Amen. We crochet connection. You know her birthday. You do have a P.O. box. We crochet connection here. And I have to get back in it. This has been discouraging because it's like, how do I talk about what's going on? It's a little bit personal. Really doesn't involve men. It's dealing with women issues. So how do I kind of talk about it and go through it? And I just like, "Okay, I'm just gonna get through it." But I truly have truly wanted to get these 3 blankets done, and I'm really excited about working on my own patterns. Now, the one that I'm working on for the church is, um, is kind of somewhat my own pattern, but I really wanna do some of my own patterns, and I can't do that till I finish these. Um, because I know myself. If I do not finish this, I'm gonna get lost in that. I know, and I appreciate everybody. Everybody's been reaching out, "How you doing? We're here if you need to chat." I have just not had the energy to. I mean, yesterday it was pouring rain. It's supposed to rain at 9 o'clock tonight. We'll see. And I was just laid up in bed with a heating pad on my stomach. Just I couldn't move. The cramps were just too bad. Um, I guess this is my life for a while, and just get through it and deal with it, and eventually it's gonna be all over with, but my lord, you know, 6:27, it's 7:27 PM here. My appetite, I just really haven't felt like eating, I haven't get through it. Well, and I think for my husband, it's been kind of like he even said last night, "This has been discouraging for me because 'cause you're my rock, you're my strength, and I don't know how to help you through this. I don't know how to I see you're hurting, I see you're tired, I see, you're going through this. I don't know how to help you." And he said, "I can't make the decision to have you go have that procedure done. You need to make that decision." And he said, "If you're not ready, we don't do it." And I'm like, "We'll discuss it after the 18th. I'm not doing it. I want to see what happens in the next couple of weeks." And I know the community is going to be here, and they have been. I mean, I've been, you know, we haven't lost anybody, and people have been playing our stuff, and I really appreciate it. Um, because it helps. Every little bit helps, when it comes to that. But we didn't wanna come outside because, of course, the spring weather was in the air, so I figured that wouldn't be too bad because it's rained, so it's probably gotten rid of some of the pollen stuff. Josh and I were dealing with a little bit of asthma because of all the spring weather. We actually had to turn the heat on. I have a little heater in my bedroom I had put on. I mean, it was freezing today. So, you know, I'm gonna get through it. Um, and you know, first of all, we're never on this channel ever gonna sit here saying that one trauma is more than another. Everybody's story is important, and what you have been through in your life and what you have gone through in your life, you've gone through it, and your pain can't be equal to anybody else's. Um, Patty was more like a sister than she was an aunt. She was that older sister, and I'm still kind of a little bit there's a part of me that, and I told this to my therapist, but we're putting a lot of stuff on hold right now. I said to her, I said, "I'm a little bit angry." She goes, "Why?" And that's part of grief, by the way. I said, "I'm angry because people knew on March 9th, and I think this is one of the reasons there was a lot of stuff that happened prior to that, but this didn't help. She passed on March 10th. Was it March 10th? March 9th or 10th, somewhere around there. It was a Sunday, and I think it was March. No, it was March 9th. And so people knew that she was in a hospice, that she had left her home and she was being put into a hospice care center. She was under hospice at that time, and that her daughter couldn't take care of her anymore. Nobody bothered to tell us. Nobody. The relative that has spoken to us since December of 2023, they picked up the phone and called and let us know she wasn't here, but they could have picked up the phone and let us know, hey, we want you to know she's gone from her house to the hospice facility and she's not doing well. So when my mom came out of the bedroom, she passed at 7:30 at night. When my mom came out of the bedroom and said she's gone, I remember absolutely shaking for a half an hour. I couldn't stop shaking. I called 2 people. I blew up their phone. They knew what was happening. And it was absolute shock. And I thought, you could have at least texted. If you could have picked up that phone and let us know she wasn't here, you could have texted and let us know what was happening so we were prepared. We weren't even prepared for that. And I guess we should have been, because 2 weeks prior we had a face-to-face time with Patty and she looked awful. But I'm like, I would have really appreciated, some kind of acknowledgement that this was what was happening. I didn't expect it from our daughter because she was in denial for a long time about Patty and, hoping she would get better and all that kind of stuff. And we knew she wasn't. But I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, I really appreciated at least a phone call or a text, something to let us know that she was in there. There was nothing. So when my mom came out and said, I was just shocked. And I don't think this helped all this, because there wasn't a preparation, a little bit of warning to let us know what was happening. And I'm fussed that my aunt, it was not right waiting until after the fact. I don't think it would have mattered to me if it was 2 hours later after we found out, because mind you, she was in Florida, we were in Ohio. That's not what irritated me. What irritated me was she went into a facility the day before and nobody let us know that she was moved from her home into a facility and let us know that there was a chance that it was coming soon. There was no warning. That's what irritated me. Shock. It was not something you wish on anyone. Birth mother died. I'm so sorry. I hadn't realized she was in such bad shape until 3 months before she passed. We knew she was. I mean, I saw her 2 weeks prior to that. But I would have just liked the message to say she's been moved to the hospice actual facility and she's not doing well. Be prepared. Something to that level. There was nothing. It was just like, my mother just came out of the room and said she's just gone. And it was like, huh? When did this all happen? And what happened? And there was nothing. And, well, frustrating. I can say I haven't dealt with that one yet. And that's going to be a tough one for me. But it's funny when the storms weather comes and the lightning comes and the thunder, I'll sit there and say, okay, Dad and Patty, stop fighting up there. They were so much alike. My dad and my aunt were just so much alike. They never wanted to admit that they were so much alike, but they were so much alike. And I know that physical activity, I'm limited because of the disability, but I've been limited because I've just been hurting. We'll see what tomorrow is. I mean, I'm praying that what today, even though I'm tired and I'm hurting and I'm just kind of, I'm hoping that this is the trend, you know, in the upcoming months ahead. That makes any sense, or the upcoming days ahead. I'm just, that's all I can do. It's like, okay, I'm literally taking one day by one day. I know we had set up for Mystery Wheel Wednesday on, was it Wednesday? On Wednesday, and I woke up at 9:30. I had to reschedule it. I wasn't up to it. So I don't know what's going to be next week. And I mean, I'm like, I'm used to having to stop everything because I get a migraine. Oh, and Monday had a migraine from, I don't know where that migraine came from. I wish to never repeat that one again. But I'm used to it. I'm used to just stopping everything and taking care of what I need to take care of, because that's what I have to deal with on a daily basis. But this, no, I'm so over it. I'm cooked. I'm done. Finished. Finito. I just want to just get me back. There's people wearing winter jackets in the middle of May. And it's fine with me. But I don't like the stormy weather. I could do without that one. Don't like it. But I've started taking vitamin D with my breakfast in the morning, my protein drink. Started taking that in the morning because I said I was a little low on the vitamin D, not very low. But I'm like, okay, I've got that one product review to do, and I've got that one project I want to do for y'all. I just don't feel like doing anything. And yet I know what that is. That's depression setting in. It's discouragement setting in. It's just, can we just move forward? You know, and I'll get through it. I'm going to be okay. I think that the key to hanging in there is making sure you're surrounded by community. You better be surrounded by community. Because hanging in there doesn't mean that it has to be, okay, I'm hanging in there and I'm all happy and lucky. No, far from it right now. I'm not. I'm just, I just would like to have my normal life back. And I'm looking forward to when that does happen. Hi, Roman. How are you? It's just been a rough past 2 months. My aunt passed in March. My husband's grandmother is having heart issues. Of course, she's 95. Her sister passed away. I was in the hospital, and my hormones are trying to get with the program. And so, and I know that that's probably some of it too, is that it's just, if your hormones are going, then you're going all over the place. And I deal with fibromyalgia. So if you deal with fibromyalgia on a chronic level, nope, I have a husband, and he's wonderful, and I'm very grateful for Josh. Um, uh, you know, if you have fibromyalgia, everything, thank you so much, everything is heightened. It's just heightened. your nerve endings, but having a fibromyalgia patient, your nerve endings are just, they're extra sensitive. So all of these things that are happening are a little, it's just more sensitive. You're just, my doctor asked me, my pain doctor said, "How you doing?" And I said, I said, "No, it'll come down, but it's reducing itself, but it's there." And he said to me, "You know what you have to do?" He said, "The flare ups start. You got to stop." He said, "You can't push it right now." He said, "Because if you push it, you're just gonna, flare it up more." I really wanted to go to that graduation party tonight, but I just didn't have the energy for it. So I decided not to. And I really, really, really want to go to the party, or not the party, but the thing on Saturday with Christina. So I had to choose between one or the other. I want to go. There's place I'd love to take Christina one day, and it's the farm at Walnut Creek. I want to do that one too. And it's like an Amish farm place. Hi, Missy. It's like an Amish farm place, and they've got giraffes and they got all this kind of stuff. And I want to go take you guys. I want to go back to the Amish country, but we were supposed to go to Columbus on Tuesday, and the headache on Tuesday was horrendous. And Josh was like, "We're not doing this." He said, "This test can wait. We got to get you well." And I lift up Josh because he just said to me last night, he said, all I can do is be here. And last night he just, I was sitting there and he just, after I got done kind of crying for a little bit, and I turned on my side, he just put his hand on, on my back and just said, "I'm here." And he said, "I'll hold it here for as long as you need it. I got you." And I'm like, so, so grateful. And then I see him hurting and him in pain, and it hurts my heart because I don't want to see him going through all that. But when we're talking about hanging in there, we better hang in there together, guys. Because if we don't, then we don't have the support. So I'm going to ask you all to make me accountable in the month of June. I won't do this until June 1st, and hopefully by then, myself and my body will be back on track. Whatever, I'm not going to come live. The only time I will do a stream every day in the month is December. But I'm going to go ahead when I can and schedule out as far as I can. I need you here. I'll take care of me when I can. Do you need me right now, honey? By the way, Joshua Jones is my husband. Are you just on here for support? Because if I have to stop and he needs me, then so forth. He's just saying that because he cares. So I'm not going to stream on Sunday and Monday. Do I need to stop streaming? Okay. I'm not going to be on here too long. Just another 20 minutes. Is that okay? No, you don't need to stop streaming. Anyway, I won't stream on Sunday and Monday in June, but I'll stream every other day, and I will set it up so I can be accountable to making sure that I'm on. I need to do a giveaway video in the next this weekend because I want to do a little giveaway for my birthday. Um, I think I'm just going to do an Amazon gift card. And then that way they can go to anybody who has Amazon. And then the second prize winner will receive 2 soap caddies. So I know last year was bigger, but that was because it was our first year on YouTube. But I'm thinking of doing at least a $25 e-gift card for my birthday, and you comment on the video. There'll be a certain word that you'll need to use, and then 2 soap caddies, and will be for the second prize winner, and that will be for United States only. So we'll do that for my birthday. Yep. The soap caddies are great. They're on our merch store. Josh loves the soap caddies. Hi pups, how are you? But I just said to myself today, I got to get back in the groove. You've had your time, you've had your space, and you've got to figure out how to function through this. Because here was the other issue. There wasn't a tremendous availability of research on what was going on. And again, I don't know after Saturday, honestly, where I'm going to be. And that means I may have to that's why I want to try. I couldn't do it, but tomorrow I'm going to make myself, and when I come home on Saturday, try to record no matter what, because we've got, let's see, got to the 11th. It's the 22nd. I've got like 10 days of recordings I got to do. And I'm not going to make them long devotions either. I'm just going to do them and get them up so that we can get moving forward. So I may need the week, depending on what happens, to see if by then it'll kind of clear itself out. I'm hoping. I'm asking for every prayer underneath God's green earth that happens, and we'll just see. It's all I can do right now. I don't have to like it, and I don't, but I have to get through it. And I'm thankful the doctor put me on 10 additional days of the medicine, because I think that may have been the turning point. I think I should have been on a stronger dose when I left the hospital. And I don't think I was in a higher enough dose the first time around. So I'm thinking that I was on 10, then I was off for 4 days. Then I went on to 20, and then I went down to 10, and I'm hoping that it's enough of a kick to not make this coming off of it terrible. But I'll do my best. If you guys don't see me, because usually we do a drive on the way to church on Sunday. And so if you don't see me on the way to church on Sunday, you'll know I'm just not up to it. And I said to myself today, okay, Mary, you got to go and get out there and walk a little bit, even though I know you don't feel like it. And I think that's the part of it. I just don't feel like it. I don't want to do it. And that's not acceptable. I hurt every day of my life with my fibromyalgia. There's no denying that. But I still need to do a little bit of walking. And I may need my walker just because I can sit down. But I need to get my tail end out there and walk a little bit. and get myself moving again when I can. When I can't, then I need to say, okay, it's all right. Not beat myself up for it. You can't as a fibromyalgia patient. If you are a fibromyalgia patient and you're beating yourself up because you're just not having a good day, it takes energy to do it. It takes energy to do that. Don't do it. Sit there and be thankful. Find something like I have been to just crochet with. Because like I said, I'm really, one blanket's got till July to finish it. But I think that we need to realize that hanging in there, I thought about it today as I was just like, well, people ask me how I'm doing, and I'm just like, I'm hanging in there. I think when you're just hanging in there, it doesn't always look very pretty. There's a lot of times when you're just hanging in there that is a big, huge mess. You know, I can tell you one thing. When we were at Sam's Club, was it 7th or 8th of last month, we bought 2 chickens. We always buy 2 chickens and come home and have them for dinner because it's a big shopping day. My mom usually comes with us. But we bought 2 chickens and then we bought 2 more. We put them in the freezer. And I'm like, I'm really thankful that we did that. It's a $10 expense, but I'm really, really glad that we did that because I don't have to think about what was for dinner. And I was just able to put them in the freezer. I took one out last night. Or I took one out today, and a friend of mine says, I just throw them in the crock pot, frozen. I would never do that because it's going to take too long for it to unthaw and get to room temperature. But I took it out of the freezer last night, or today, and then tomorrow afternoon, I'll take it out of the container and put it in the crock pot. By about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and just let it heat to room temperature in the crock pot, and that's dinner. And I was like, I am so thankful we did that because I don't have to think about it, making sure everybody gets fed. That's a great trick. And they did say it was best to take your rotisserie chickens and freeze them whole. Don't chop them up because they dry out too much. It's best to take them, unthaw them, or freeze them whole than it is to not, to chop them up and put them in pieces. So I'll let you know how that works, that trick. But taking your rotisserie chickens and putting them in the freezer, we put a little press and seal around it, and then just being able to throw it in the refrigerator and take it for a couple hours and heat it up in the crock pot. Because I think that when you're just kind of getting through life and you're kind of having to hang in there, you know what? You better have some things like that you can just throw in the refrigerator and be able to have ready for dinner. I was listening to somebody and it was really actually very comforting. The lady said she was going through a divorce. She had 2 young children and she couldn't afford therapy, but the guidance counselor at the school talked with her and helped her through it. And she said to him, she said, I must be an awful mom. She said, sometimes I just go to the grocery store and I get a box meal of macaroni and cheese and I just fix it. I don't even do a side. And she said, we used to go out and do things and play. And she said, I used to make my kids very nutritious meals. And we go out and play and we do things and we go to the park and we do all this kind of stuff. And she said, I don't do that now. Sometimes I'll just put them in front of the television. And she said, sometimes for hours. And she said, and there's a lot of times I go in the bedroom and cry. And he stopped her for a minute. He said, do you realize what an amazing mom you are? Because you're going through such a tough, tough time in your life. He said, you're making sure that your kids have something in their stomach. And I'm sure you're probably testing the pasta to make sure it's not too hot for their mouths. And then it's actually done. And then he said, and you're putting them in front of the TV so they can laugh and they can smile. And she said, and then the next thing out of the person's mouth was, and you're going in the bedroom and crying so your kids aren't seeing you cry. And she said, everything that I had turned around as a negative about myself, that counselor turned around to a positive. Everything. And I thought, that's a wonderful way to look at everything. And she said, you've got to be so careful how we talk to ourselves because it can impact us in so many ways and in so many things that we don't even realize it. The negative talk that comes and it creeps up if we listen to ourselves. So pay attention to that negative talk. I've had, and that was just such a changing thing when I heard that yesterday. And I thought, I'm not sitting here saying I'm a terrible mom. So my daughter's already grown and married and raised and at Musgrove, and raised, and she's beautiful and wonderful. And I did as best a job as I could. But right now, am I allowing negative talk to myself? Mary, you should have done this today. Or Mary, you should have done this today. Oh, Mary, no, we're not going to allow myself to talk I'm not going to allow myself to talk to me like that. You are doing the best you can right now. You're hanging in there. You're doing the very best you can because you have been through a lot in the past 2 months. Your emotions, you've had a loss, your body has been through it, you're exhausted, you're tired, you're worn out, you're discouraged, all of those things. You can't allow yourself to talk. Welcome back, Taco. You can't allow yourself to talk to yourself like that. We cannot allow ourselves to get away with negative talk that we're going to beat ourselves up for. Don't do it. And I said to myself when that woman was talking about it, I thought, over the past couple of weeks, especially the past week, have allowed myself to beat my own self up a little bit. And that has to stop. Now, there are going to be days ahead where I literally may not be able to do much of anything, but just lay there and do the best I can to deal with the pain because it's intense. We'll get through it. But don't be beating yourself up if you're having a rough day. You can't do that. You can't allow yourself to do that. And I thought that was so impactful that the lady said this person that she listened to, that talked with her, just turned every negative thing she said into a positive. What if we do that for ourselves? What if we literally sit there when we start talking negative talk and we go, wait a minute. And I think it's even more impactful if we say it out loud to ourselves. It may look strange. I have conferences with myself all the time. But whatever it is, if we sit there and we say, okay, whatever I just thought in my head, I'm going to speak it out loud. And then we would have to sit there and say, would we allow someone else to talk to us like that? I don't think so. We have to be willing to say, if this is what our thoughts are coming up with, how can we turn that around to a way that says, we're going to make the negative into a positive? Like I said to myself, I needed to do more recordings. I could have done some recordings today. And then I had to stop myself at one point and say, Mary, do you realize how much we've done on this channel? Do you realize how much you've uploaded since? And with the help of my mom, because I couldn't do it totally by myself. Do you realize how much you've done since January of last year? How much content you've put up and mom has put up? You have nothing to be ashamed about. And you're behind on the devotions, that is, but those devotions that go up, whether it is for that day, even though it wasn't uploaded on that day, even if it's a March 9th devotion, you could still listen to it on April the 18th and it would still be appropriate. It's still good for us to be hearing those verses and those encouraging words. So just because they're delayed or they don't go out on the Pacific day doesn't change the impact of the devotion. And so if you're somebody that really enjoys those devotions, go back to some of the January devotions and listen. Hi, Lucy. Listen to some of those. Re-listen to them again. I guarantee you will find something in that devotion you go, I didn't hear that before. I absolutely guarantee you will. So I had to stop myself from beating my own self up today a little bit and this week. There wasn't really much I could do on Monday, but just come home and rest. And Tuesday was a doozy. Tuesday wasn't too bad. Wednesday was a little worse. And today's not been too terrible. And I'm hoping that tomorrow won't be either. And I have to go take my medicine in about half an hour. So I think that there's times in our lives where we just hang in there. But you better hang in there with people that you can get on YouTube for all the world to see you cry. For the trolls to come in and say, whatever they want to say. You have no idea what pain is. My story is my story. I don't know what your pain is, but we're not here to judge or say my pain is worse than your pain. Everybody's story is their story. This is why we did what we did in January 13th of last year. A community. I can get on here, talk, and be myself. Always for a very long time in my life. Yep. Absolutely. They're not going to dim my shine, that's for sure. I felt for a long time in my life as I've been this person that just never fit in. But I can get on here and I could just be myself. I could be Mary. And either people are going to love me or they're not. They're going to like my mom or they're not. They're going to like my daughter or they're not. And I don't have to sit here and put on a mask or try to be somebody I'm not. I can just be Mary. And I can shine as bright as could be. And I'm so blessed to have that. I'm so blessed and thankful that we've created a place that has that. So I think when June happens, I don't know because I can't look at my phone what June 1st is, what that falls on. That would have been my grandmother's birthday. But we'll start on Tuesday, whatever the first Tuesday of June is. And I will try to set them up. And two, another thing I think that I thought of too is I couldn't go through StreamYard because StreamYard was way too expensive. They wanted $423 and we didn't have it. And so StreamYard, I lost StreamYard and I have to get on and really learn Streamlabs. And I can learn it. It's not that. It's just sitting down and really understanding all of the nuances of Streamlabs. And that's just been an undertaking I just don't feel like doing right now. But I'll figure it out. Hi, Ro. How are you? Welcome in, Kim D. So that's a whole other thing I have to sit and figure out is how to navigate Streamlabs and get your chats on the screen because I very much want to do that and I miss that. So I have to figure all that out. But I'm going to have you all hold me accountable in June. Now, if for some reason I'm having a really rough day, pain wise, I will put on the community post. I'm having a real rough day. And what I think what I'll do is if I can, try to do like 4 or 5. We used to do something called Topic Thursdays. And what I'll do is I'll try to do several of topics. They won't be more than like 20 minutes long. But then that way I could put them in as a premiere. That way, if something happens and I'm just having a migraine or I'm dealing with all this other kind of stuff that's happening with the hormones and all that kind of wonderful stuff, getting older is not for wimps, y'all, I can tell you that. Then I could set it up as a premiere. I could do a 20-minute topic, set it up as a premiere, and then that way you guys have the opportunity to come in and I'll be there to connect and chat. But this way, at least I'll have them in there. And then if I don't, I'll just be able to put them up as extra content. But then that way, and I think I may even do that at Christmas time. We do lives every day of the month of December. But just in case I wind up into a problem with something happening or whatever, I'll have some things in the bank. And I should have thought of that earlier, but there was really no time. But I'll try to find some topics. And then that way, if by chance I'm struggling, I could have 4 or 5 of 20-minute topics. I understand it'll take me about a half an hour to do it. And it'll take me about half an hour to edit it, but it's fine. And then that way, we can still chit chat, talk, and connect like I want to do in that. But then I'll have them. And then if I don't need them, I don't need them. I'll just put them up later on. But I may start bringing those back a little bit. That's a really good idea. Having just those kind of in the bank, set them up and have them as a way of doing a premiere if I'm struggling and I can't do a live, or I'm having a difficult day or whatever it is, but I want to connect with you all. I need to do some of those. That's a really, really good idea. We'll just have to figure out a name for it. You know, topic something or other. I don't know what it'll be yet, but I'll figure something out. But I think that's a good idea. Do some recordings and just have them in the bank. So that way I'm not going so long without being able to connect with you all being able to connect with each other, us to be able to connect within the chat. I think that's a really, really good idea to be able to do. We'll figure it out. Topic time. I like that. We'll just pick up. I used to do it. I used to do topic Thursdays and I stopped doing them for a while. But this way, if I just do a topic time, and we'll just, or if somebody has a better name, put it out there. We'll do a topic, and I'll just pick random topics, and we'll talk about them, and we'll find them, and that way I can make a premiere of them. But then they can be in the bank for it. So, and see, I know this. I know this well enough to know this. I knew I didn't want to come on, but I knew if I did come on, I feel better. So what was that doing in my head? That negative talk. Oh, you don't need to go on there. You know, you're not up to going on there. I made myself do it even though I didn't feel like it, because the negative talk was coming in. And the thing about it is, I knew better than that. I knew that once I got off, am I going to feel like flying high right now? No. But am I going to feel a little lighter? Yeah. Have I been able to smile amongst the tears? Yes. Have I been able to cry a little bit? Yes. Have I been able to kind of deal with this frustration? I think to some degree it's frustration and discouragement, and at least there's a voice for it. I needed a voice today for it, because I'm over it. I'm kaput. I'm done. I'm over it. Can we please move on, get my body back to where it was, and let's just keep going. And I feel a little lighter. And it's because of you guys. It's because of the community we built here. I know for other people, it's like, just go out and find your community and find it out there. But guys, I had an opportunity to go to a graduation party tonight. I couldn't go. I didn't have the energy for it. So when people are in our position, where they're dealing with a chronic illness, or they're going through a rough time, or they're just hanging in there, they need these types of communities to fall back on. They're really, really, really important. It doesn't stop you from finding your people in your own community. You need to. And having your church family, all that, it's so important. But having this kind of community where you can have encouragement, people are there for you to listen to you. And maybe somebody's kind of going through the same thing. They're just going, you know what? I'm kind of hanging in there right now. And I'm just kind of getting through the day. I know what this feels like, and I know exactly what you feel like right now. You're hanging in there. And it just is not a fun place to be in. And I'll get through it. I'm gonna get through it with people around me. I can tell you that. I ain't going, even though I haven't been on here as much as I was, people are still reaching out to me. I'm still making sure I'm connected. I believe me, I'm not just pulling away. But I have to some degree pulled away from being in chats and so forth, and I need to get back into all that. It's just because I just haven't had the energy. The focus hasn't been there. And my focus really has been on these 3 blankets, and I need to finish them. And I will. It's been peaceful out here. I'm glad I came out, sat down. I don't know if you can hear it, but the birds are chirping. Pollen isn't really in the air because the wind isn't blowing terribly. There's been days we've had some really strong wind. Birds have been chirping, probably in the 50s. Kind of just, I don't know, relaxing. It's been very calming. I'm looking forward to when I can bring my rocking chair out here and sit and crochet like I did that one time, but with the rain and then with the asthma flare up, I haven't been able to do that till kind of get through all the spring pollen weather. You know what I felt like doing yesterday? I was silly as heck. I almost did it. Oh, well, right back at you, Kristen. I love you, sis. You know what I felt like doing yesterday? I almost did it too. I was trying to figure out how to do it. Actually, I could do it because I have a bag for my phone that when I go in the pool with the Y, which I haven't been able to do either. I think we're going to have more rain in a little bit. Um. Anyway, I almost took my phone, put it in that little bag, waterproof, and literally just stepped out in the rain. Hi, Jeanette. Welcome on in. I know that sounds awfully weird to think about doing. It wasn't thundering. It was just really light drizzles. It wasn't heavy. But I literally almost just kind of thought, I am just going to go walk in the rain because I'll feel something. I didn't do it, but it was this close to just going out in the rain and just go walking in it. Didn't care if shoes got wet, didn't care if I got wet. And I thought, I'll take my phone and record myself. And then if I cry, nobody's going to see it. Because it'll be raining, right? But I'll feel something. I've been numb for a while, guys. And that's just because that's part of grief, is to feel numb. And I think it's slowly wearing off to where I realize Patty's not going to pick that phone up again. But as much as I miss her, I wouldn't want her here. She's happy and healthy and whole with my dad and with her mom. She was a pain in the neck, but I loved her. I always will. She'll always be my aunt, no matter what. but build your community, whatever it may look like. Make sure you have a lot of people around you, because when the storms of life, just like it looks like they're rolling in for some more, when the storms of life come, you better have people. I have a handful of people I could get on the phone with right now and just literally cry. They wouldn't be trying to talk me out of it. They wouldn't be trying to do anything. They just let me cry because they know. And it was, what day was it? It was last week. It was like Friday. Her husband's like, "You're finally kind of coming back around a little bit." I said, "Yeah, I kind of feel like I am." And then I think it was the other day, he's like, "You're going back down again." Because he said, "I know you're struggling." Like, yep. And I literally, guys, have got to take one day by one day. This isn't, I can sit there. I can say that I have put in my head this, and I've said, this isn't cancer. Thank God Almighty that all that test results for the female department came back negative. I can sit there and say, thank you, Lord. So this is not cancer. This is just annoying beyond measure. And it's got some pain to it. And I think that when you're dealing with pain, let me explain. The best way to explain this, though, let me get off here in a few minutes. When you're dealing with pain on a level every day, when you're dealing with fibromyalgia and you're dealing with pain, you get to a point where you're kind of like riding this level and you're used to this. And my pain level's kind of been here, and then I go up to here, and then I come. It's been like, and that can be exhausting. That's the part that can absolutely wear you out beyond measure, is when your pain level change. Oh, Jan, I am so sorry, hon. My aunt just passed through that. We will send prayers, hon, your way for sure, that you will be able to beat this. And I pray for you and your family. Prayers, Janet. Prayers, prayers, prayers. I am so sorry. Hi, Alfonso. I will definitely be lifting you up in my prayers. That you can. See, that's what that's what I've been saying. Mary, you're not dealing with cancer. You're dealing with your hormones all over the map, and a cycle that hasn't really stopped on and off since Easter, even before Easter. And things are trying to get back into, hi Nancy, back into regular rhythm. But when you're used to dealing with a pain level here and then it jumps. Hi Moonwolf, how are you? Oh, that's wonderful, Nancy. There is a gentleman, and I have got to talk with him. It's called Hats on a Mission. I think it's Hats on a Mission. He does hats for people too. I think that's wonderful. That's what I've been doing with the blankets. We absolutely wonderful. What a wonderful way of being able to take your mind and do something for good in the midst of it. But I think what's tiring me out is my pain levels changed. And so I'm having to navigate it. And it's been exhausting. I think that's wonderful. What a wonderful way for you to use that. I think that's great. I love it. And I got through that, yet anybody ever sees it's on the Up channel. It's called, what is it? Oh goodness, I'm gonna forget it now. It's, oh yes, it can, absolutely. I deal with fibromyalgia, it does every day. Oh, what is that? It was Snowy River, the man from Snowy River, oh, I can't remember his name, the Matthew McGregor story, saga. And it took me into just this wonderful place. It was wonderful to get involved with that. And I finally finished it. I was horses and going back to old times, and it was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful to watch. But see, that's something that I would like to do down the road with this channel is I want to be able to do blessing boxes where we can put yarn in boxes, uh, at least starting out here in the lower 48, and be able to put it in for someone like Jeanette that does, hats for veterans. But she's dealing with a chronic illness. But the yarn is making a difference in her staying positive and sticking through it. And that's one thing. My 4,000 by Chris for the veterans. Janet, would you please do me a favor? I don't know if somebody can, one of my mods. Can you put blessed to crochet at yahoo.com in the chat? Would you do me a favor? Would you please email me? I'm assuming you use acrylic yarn. I think it's probably a weight 4. But would you please email me if you live in the United States? I would really like to send you some yarn for July 4th. And I'd like to please have that yarn be donated in memory of my dad that served 28 years, 6 months and 10 days in Naval Reserves as a first-class petty officer. If you feel comfortable and you live in the 48 states, would you please email me? And I would like to go to Hobby Lobby and get you some yarn, send it to you if you're willing to. And those hats can be made in the honor of my dad and my uncle and my grandfather, but mainly my dad. So if you feel comfortable and feel led to do that, I would love to be able to do that. And you live in West Virginia, perfect. If you feel comfortable, and I'd love to be able to, maybe in the month of June, see if any of my community would like to donate anything. Then we could go out and get a thing. You can do that. Awesome. I don't know what you all feel about that, but that's just been led really on my heart. If you use Hobby Lobby, do you use acrylic? With acrylic weight, I should know this by now, right? There's a beautiful sunset coming from over there. You can see it in the sky. Weighted 4? Okay. So maybe in June, we could just put it out there and see. And between us, we could get you a little yarn and send it to you, and you could do some hats in my dad's memory. That'd be wonderful. I'm going to try to turn you guys around because you'll see it in a minute. Do you see the clouds? Hold on a second. See if you can see the clouds. You got to get up for a minute anyway. Oh, so see the clouds. I don't know if you can see the clouds. You'll see them. See the clouds. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It's gorgeous. because the sunset's coming from over there, but you can see it up in the clouds. Isn't it beautiful? Oh, see it coming in. I think it's going to rain again, but that would be wonderful. We'll do that for July 4th. Can't do it for Memorial Day, but we'll do it for July 4th. That is awesome. And I will certainly put it out there, but that's something that I would like to do. And I may not be able to do total blessing boxes. The Lighthouse Beacons is our Facebook group. That is, we want to be beacons of lights for everybody. Eventually, I want to do what's called blessing boxes. And that's where our community, we have a little fund put aside. I want to do 2 different funds, my mom and I do. This channel is my mom. I focus on the connection. My mom gets all the revenue for it. I need the connection. And you don't have to crochet to be a part of it. We don't really focus on that too much. I will be out here as the summer comes, sitting out here, my blankets. I love doing the bobble stitch blankets and crochet and chit chat and talk. But we want to do 2 things. We want to have a little fun put aside for what's called blessing boxes, where we can send people yarn that are maybe dealing with a chronic illness or dealing with pain, and they're using that yarn like you are to be able to do it for, you know, veterans or for animal shelters needs blankets or homeless, whatever it is. And then we also would like to have a little separate fund with our devotions, that if anybody ever reaches out to us and says, thank you, anybody reaches out to us and says, I need a Bible, we can order them a Bible on Amazon. So my first blessing box, it may be one that we'll do, and then it may be a while before we could do another one, but I couldn't think of a better person to receive the first one but you, because that just absolutely warms my heart. And I don't do good with hats. I never have, and I never will. There's one pattern I do with hats. I tend to crochet on, kind of loosely. Like the pattern I'm having to choose, I've had to go down like a, oh my god, that is stunning. Like I've had to go down like a whole hook size. So I don't do hats very well, but I gotta show you this, guys. Hold on a second. Do you not see that? Look at this. Look at the color. It's like painted sky. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So you can see what I'm seeing. This is absolutely stunning. It's just beautiful. And pretty. Even with the dark sky. You know, sometimes in life, well, let's look at that for a minute. Battery's gonna die. You know, sometimes in life, the skies are dark, but there's light shining through it. That's what I kind of feel like my life right now is. There's some dark patches around, but there's still light. And you guys are the light. Sometimes we need to look for the light in the mix of the darkness. That was actually one of our quotes this week, was about the light coming through. But I think sometimes we need to change our perspective. We need to come out and look around and realize that we got through another day when we're hanging in there. And I think it's wonderful. So I will put out there too, if anybody crochets hats and they'd like to help Janet towards her goal, you can send it to our P.O. box. If you want to send it, I'll make sure that it gets there with the yarn. I'm sure she'll still reach for that 4,000 goal, but we can help maybe bring it over the 4,000, right? So if there's anybody out there that crochets hats, if it is wool, please make sure you put it in a Ziploc bag and label it, because I can't touch wool. I can only touch acrylic and cotton. My late husband started making hats 21 years ago, and I've tried to keep it going. That is wonderful. But anyway, just put it in a bag. If it's other than cotton or acrylic, put it in a bag and label what the material is. And I would probably, and just make sure they're washed and so forth. But my P.O. box is my mom's P.O. box is there. You can send it there. Anybody wants to send any hats, or I'm sure she has a Hobby Lobby. If anybody wants to send any gift cards, they could send it there. And I will certainly make sure Janet gets them. And we're going to help her accomplish that. Sure glad you came in, and welcome on in. That warmed my heart tonight. Guys, I don't know how much, I didn't think I needed this as much as I did. But I did. And if you look at the clouds now, the light is gone. It's still there. Here's the thing. A lot more dark patches. There's a little bit of light coming through. But here's the thing. You're welcome. Here's the thing, and I'll point you around so you can see it. Remember we saw that beautiful light? Dark clouds again. Not much light coming through, is there? If when you're going through a rough time, you can have a glimpse of light, it changes here. And sometimes you only get it for a moment. Sometimes you only get it for a second. But you get it. Thank you guys for tonight. Let me cry a little bit. I hear the thunder rolling. You let me laugh a little bit. You let me smile a little bit. You let me realize that this may be a difficult, dark time in my life right now. But I'll get through it. One little bit by one little bit by one little bit. I can tell you, and if you're a man, I'm really sorry, but I'm going to tell you this. I have never wanted to reach menopause so quickly in my life as I do now. I said to my mom, I never thought I'd be asking that for a birthday present, but I can honestly say I wish it. And I guess I was told by the doctor she doesn't see me at that point yet, but I'm sitting there going, I cannot wait. And we'll see. The doctor hasn't responded. I don't know what the referral looks like for the iron infusions, but I'm pretty nervous to do them, but I guess I don't really have a choice. I'm sure Kristen will. It's blessed, the number 2, crochet at yahoo.com. I don't know if I'll respond tonight, but I will respond in the next 24 hours. And we will get it on. And two, if you go underneath every video, you'll see a Linktree link, and all of our links are on there too as well. The Facebook groups are on there. And but I'll get through it. And it's kind of it's like, how do you talk about it? You know? I know it's easy to talk about, but it's kind of like, I don't know, maybe it is. I don't know. It's easy to talk about to some degree, but you kinda sit there going, "Oh, how do I kinda talk about it?" Just talk about it. I mean, I don't I mean, Easter seems like years ago, and when Patty passed away, it seems like even years before that. Oh, he is for people that do not believe in Jesus, I don't know how they get through it. God is with me, and he's carried me. He's had to carry me, and I can sit there and be, "Thank you, it's not this. Thank you, it's not this. It's just my body." But and when I had Christina, which I was in my 20s, I did have an ongoing, which is not something that is uncommon, but I had an ongoing cycle for about 6 weeks. And I've had some break here and there a little bit, but it's like I just would like it to return. And I mean, by the time I got to the hospital on Easter, I was at a stage where I was really kind of weak, and I was standing. It was standing. I was trying to get ready for church, and I was standing, and I literally almost, like, if it hadn't been for my husband, I'd have fallen face flat. Um, and when I got to the hospital and they did all my vitals and everything, um, I almost there was 2 nurses that had to put me in a chair because I was so lightheaded, and they were even considering a blood transfusion for me because of where my blood levels were. So, I'm hoping that because of my age, they can't just it'd be nice if they could just stick me on birth control, and then it'd be easy to kinda get regulated. But because of my age, they can't. So they've had to give me the medication that just has the progesterone in it, probably said that wrong, versus having the estrogen both combined because of my age. So that medication takes about 2 to 3 months to work, and everything I've read, when I stopped the first round of medication, it was horrendous. Cramps were terrible. And the doctor said, "I'll stick you on 20 milligrams of that medication for another 10 days." She gave it to me to start in case I needed it. I had to restart it again. And then when I was getting done with that round of 10 days, I said to her, "Can we go at least 10 milligrams? Don't just drop me off a cliff." And she did. And that medication stops on Friday. So we'll see what happens. And there is supposed to be, you're supposed to have some after the medication stops. But I'm hoping it will, you know, finally stop and get regulated, and I'm not having to go through a whole cycle. So we'll we'll see where I am. I'm literally having to take one day. This has been since Easter. And I did read that grief can throw your hormones into a tailspin, on top of the fact that I'm my age is also another factor that can also put your hormones into a tailspin. So between the two of them, it's just it's just been exhausting. I'm just like, I'm so over it. It's just like, I'm done. Can we just can we just turn off the faucet and stop all of it? And it's kind of like, well, it is what it is, but I am going to go on my other's keeper and talk with Kim about it, because I do feel as if I found it discouraging because I didn't have a lot of places to go to find out what was going on. And I've had to kind of do my own research about the medication she has me on, because I'm like, okay, well, come to find out, this is exactly what happens on the medication. So I figure out Kim's channel is a real safe place for me to talk about it, because I figure out if it helps someone that's going through it, they won't feel like they're by themselves, you know? And so, you know, today has felt like been a little crampy, but not to the point where I was even on Wednesday. I mean, Wednesday I was just a wreck. And that's probably why I'm so tired, is because I literally Wednesday was exhausting and then Monday was exhausting because I had a migraine. And I'm sure the stress has just not helped any of this. But you know, we got to get through this together as a community. And we will. We're here for each other. And I feel a little bit better. So I'm going to go get off here. I got to go take my medicine. I got to go check on Mr. Blessed to Crochet. And I think it's supposed to rain at 9 o'clock the last time I looked. So my battery's about dead. But, well, thank you, Janet. I appreciate that. So we're here for. We're here to grow it. And remember, guys, I tell you, and I am. Remember to be proud of being yourself because everyone else has taken. My daughter's calling. She's going to call again in a minute. Remember to be proud of being yourself. Okay. Remember, be proud of being yourself because everyone else is taken. We have you covered. Thank you so much for having us covered. Welcome if you've just subscribed to this channel tonight, and keep crocheting that connection. No crochet hook required. We'll see you on the next one. Bye bye, everybody, and thank you for tonight. It was very much needed. Love you all. Bye bye, everybody.